Good morning, Honorable Atline. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, how are you, ma'am?
I'm fine, ma'am, and how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I don't think the chair can hear us. Good morning, honorable members.
Good morning.
Honorable Adlai.
Good morning.
Le kae, dumela.
I'm good.
Ke a ruta.
Oh, okay.
Ke itumetse go join. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Good morning, Trudy.
Good morning, Pumo. Lovely to see you.
Good to see you too.
Hope you're all doing well.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's 9:30 now. Why are you not starting the meeting? Oh, it's Bantu time.
Good morning, ma'am. We are waiting for a quorum, ma'am. We are waiting for a quorum.
Okay.
Yes, apologies for that.
Okay, all right. No, we'll wait.
Yes, thank you. Madam SG.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there was, you sent me a statement. That was a statement from that's all that I got. But I've sent you my personal email. I've WhatsApp you now.
Okay, sir.
I need to check, please.
Honorable Chair, I see we have Angola.
Yes.
We have Botswana. I cannot see DRC, though they've registered. I also cannot find the vice chair, Lesotho. Madagascar is on board. Mauritius is on board. Malawi, Malawi is on board as well. Honorable Marie, Joanne Sabrina.
Mauritius.
Mauritius. Is Mauritius present?
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Your name got cut. Bonjour, madame. Correct? Correct. And then Honorable Carlo Moreira, Mozambique. Bon dia, Mozambique. I can't find Mozambique. We have socials, we have South Africa. Eswatini is not yet on board. Tanzania is not yet on board. Zambia is not yet on board as well. Zimbabwe is on board. Zimbabwe is on board. So we'll try and check what is happening with Zambia so that we may proceed. Good morning once again, honorable members. We just need one more country, then we'll proceed. We're trying to, Zambia was on, and we're trying to find out if they have any technical difficulties.
Yes.
Okay, now there's sound.
I see Zambia is on board. Jeff, could you kindly advise if Honorable Musakotwani will be joining?
Hello. Mona voyez fait speech dans email là. C'est qu'un speech online. On peut faire là.
SG, I'm with Honorable Msokotwani on the phone. He's trying to join just now.
Oh, okay. Ronald will assist then. We're only waiting for him to join, then we have a quorum. We want to proceed.
Yes.
Chair, we have Lesotho on board. We have 9 countries now.
Yes, sir.
I believe we may proceed while Zambia connects to the line. In the meantime, Chair.
Yes, madam.
If I may, I will quickly just go through the logistics or hand over to Mr. Ronald Vinvai to basically familiarize us with how this meeting will run on the technology side.
Yes. We proceed, yes.
Mr. Ronald Vinvai, kindly advise members on interpretation, on muting and recording, among others. Thank you.
Good morning, honorable members. There's a portion or a section called interpretation. It's the right on your bottom right. It's called interpretation. So if you want to listen to the English channel, you click on that and you choose English. So if you want to listen on the French channel, you click on the French portion of it, and then the last option is the Portuguese channel. That's at the bottom. That's the bottom right corner. It's called interpretation.
In short, honorable members, you choose the language you'd like to be addressed on. You stick to that language, and you will hear the simultaneous translation from that particular language. For instance, if you want to choose Portuguese, if you go to interpretation, you mute all other languages and just press on Portuguese. If you want to hear French, you just press on French. If it's English, you just click English so that you don't get interference from all the other languages. Is that in order?
Already done, yes.
We also wish to advise that we'll be recording this particular session for the committees, and it will be shared with all the honorable members, including our observers. And that for the purposes of controlling communication, we request that all your microphones remain muted, save for that of the chairperson and the committee clerk, so that we are able to close out on sound in your environments. Should you need to make any intervention, kindly raise your hand, because I note that a lot of times when we use the hand button on the screen, sometimes we don't pick it up because we are focusing on other things. But I also note that most of us are on audio. So probably the most important thing would be for us to use our chat box and indicate if you need to make an intervention. I hope that is in order, honorable members. Do I need to clarify any other logistics in that order? We will be recording. We will use the chat box for communication. All microphones kindly remain muted, save for the chair, committee clerk, and those of the interpreters. At this point, Chair, we may proceed with the agenda. Zambia is also on board, and I believe that we have a quorum for this meeting, Chairperson.
We may proceed?
Yes, sir. We may proceed with the adoption of the agenda, Chair.
Yes. Excuse me, Madam SG, will we be receiving the agenda on the screen, or we have to do it verbally?
We may share, Chair, on the screen, or the Chairperson may wish to share the agenda from his end.
Just checking, because the agenda is on my laptop. I cannot switch forward and back.
Oh, okay. I'll share the agenda, Chair. I'll share the agenda now.
Yes, please do. Okay. I have it on my phone now. Good morning,
Yes,
members.
Chair.
Yes, the agenda. Welcome to this online meeting facilitated by the Secretariat of the SADC PF, and I trust members have received their own agenda via their email or other formats. First, the adoption of the agenda. We will have the welcoming remarks, credential of delegates and apologies. Number 4, the consideration of the minutes, matters arising from the minutes of the TIFI committee held on the Saturday, 2nd November 2019 at the Premier Hotel in Johannesburg. And point number 5 on the agenda is the election of office bearers. Are we in agreement?
Yes, Chair, I agree.
That's South Africa. Honorable Tengue is moving for the adoption of the agenda, Chair.
Noted, Madam SG. Agenda adopted.
We need a second, Chair. Lesotho has seconded the agenda, Chair.
Lesotho, thank you. We shall now move to point 2 on the agenda, the welcoming remarks. May I beg for your indulgence? Honorable members and distinguished participants, it was with great honor that I welcome you to this first ever online meeting of the TIFI Committee of the SADC PF in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. International organizations has no choice than to innovate and use technology to meet its end. And I am very glad that the forum has also espoused a technological platform to allow members to meet online. Just like we often say, Africa cannot stay behind. The SADC region also has to keep progressing in its cooperative agenda. The TIFI committee being one of the main avenues through which this momentous cooperation takes place. Honorable members and distinguished participants, as we meet today, we turn to address a topic that is very relevant for the months to come, which is assisting National Parliament to mitigate the effect of the COVID-19 pandemic. and to give the necessary stimulus to allow the frail SADC economies to grow again. Parliament acts as agent of social transformation and are to be directly involved to facilitate social changes through robust legislative, policy, budgetary, and oversight action. Indeed, around the world, we have seen how strong parliamentarian action in the United Kingdom, France, or New Zealand has attempted to curb the economic and financial crisis which result due to the pandemic. The involvement of Parliament at every step in the combating this crisis is of paramount importance if we are to have tangible results. In the SADC region, we also expect Parliament to be proactive rather than reactive. And we inter-parliamentary cooperation conducted through organs such as the TIFI committee. Parliaments are encouraged to engage in peer learning and sharing of experience such that they can contextualize COVID-19 related parliamentary initiative at the national level. Honorable members and distinguished participants, there is no doubt that COVID-19 will have a lasting or protracted impact on trade, finance, industry, or investment for the SADC region, and of which are subject relevant to this committee. Redressing the weakened economy may require a holistic approach, which involves multiple measures that are either popular nor tested, but which are nonetheless necessary to save the situation. While economic redress will not be achieved in a day, at least the work needs to start now so that the SADC economy can aspire to register a positive growth in the next 2 to 3 years. Moreover, the SADC economies rely on a variety of sectors and industries, ranging from textile industry, handicraft, tourism, mining, global business, agriculture, financial services, etc. While all sectors have been hit by COVID-19, there will be no one-size-fits-all formula for all SADC member states, since every economy has its own specificities. Other pressing issues is how we continue to implement the regional or international agendas, such as Africa Agenda 2063 and the Sustainable Development Goal, the SDGs, despite the daunting impact of the COVID-19. There are issues that we directly need to consider and address as SADC parliamentarians. Furthermore, as parliamentarians, the linchpin is that we need to continue to ensure that financial and economic measures proposed are consonant with human rights and guiding principles such as the rule of law and constitutionalism. That are really the cornerstone of parliamentarian action. Honorable members and distinguished participants, I am confident that today we will find some answers to our question as we engage on the deliberation relating to the impact of COVID-19 on matters relevant to the TIFI committee. I encourage other thematic standing committee to also do the same when they meet so that such measures can be surfaced to the forthcoming plenary assembly for a full picture of the situation. With these words, I wish you all a pleasant session. Thank you. Shall we now move to agenda point 4.3? Kind is our committee clerk online so that we can go over the credentials and apologies from member states.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I'm sorry, our committee clerk is online, but she has a bereavement. Last night, she lost her father-in-law. So at this point, she was just logging in so that she may be introduced. And then she would have to leave for the family engagement. I will be standing in for the committee clerk, and I will proceed to give the credentials and apologies of the committee, and then allow me to introduce the committee clerk chairperson, if that is in order.
Yes, it's in order, Madam SG. And on behalf of the TIFI committee, may I extend our sincere, deepest sympathy and condolences to her family.
Thank you, Chairperson. We have a total of 41 participants registered to attend the committee sitting. However, today we have 32 participants. I believe that the other participants will join in tomorrow when we have the webinar. Honorable Chairperson, we have present Angola, represented by Honorable Ruth Adriano Mendes. We have Botswana, represented by Honorable Dumelan Saleshando. We have Lesotho, represented by Honorable Tsapan Sita Mosena, the Vice Chairperson of the Trade Committee. We have Madagascar, represented by Honorable Donovan Sedoni Jimmy Gertrude Johnny. We have Malawi, represented by Honorable Dennis Namachekecha. We have Mauritius, represented by Honorable Marie-Joanne Sabrina. We have Seychelles, represented by yourself, Chairperson, Honorable Egbert Aglai. We have South Africa, represented by Honorable Tlengiwe Mkalipi. We have Zambia, represented by Honorable Dr. Stombeko Mosokotwane, and Zimbabwe, represented by Honorable Ndebele. Among us, Chair, we also have observers from our cooperating partners and cooperating institutions. We have TRALAC, represented by Ms. Trudy Hazenbeck. We also have ARASA, represented by Ms. Nyasha Chingore, among others. We also have staff of Parliament among us who have joined in onto this call, Chair. I thank you. The committee session may proceed. We do have the required quorum to proceed.
Thank you, Madam SG. Just a quick question that I would like to clarify in regards to our time frame for this session. In the interest of other participants also, are we gonna agree on a time frame for this meeting, or should we, because maybe members has other engagement that has planned, but we did ask for today to be blocked so that we can conduct our meeting. How long do we intend to for this meeting?
Thank you. We have provided for a 2-hour 30-minute slot for this committee sitting. If we finish early, it's good. If we go any further, it may help for us to not exhaust the 3 hours that is normally provided for this platform, unless we have to log out and log in again.
Noted. Thank you.
Chair, if I may, at this point, the honorable members have already gotten notification on the committee clerk who will be servicing our committee. If I may, Chair, just indicate that her name is Miss Edna Kanguya Zangbo. She's the holder of a Bachelor's of Arts in Economics with a minor in Demography from the University of Zambia. She has worked for the Zambia Postal Service as branch manager for a year. She also worked for the Zambia Revenue Authority for 2 years as an examining officer under Customs Division. She currently is a staff of the National Assembly of Zambia and has been there since 2016. She services the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labor Matters in the Zambia Parliament, and has also serviced the Health Committee and has worked with the SADC PF through the SRHR project previously. Ms. Edna will be attached to the committee as part of our secondment policy for the next 2 years, and will be servicing the committee based in Zambia, but working closely with us here at the SADC Parliamentary Forum. I thank you, Chairperson. Welcome, Ms. Edna.
Okay, thank you, Madam SG. And I believe also we have, since there was some election, even early this year also, that we have new members that has joined the TIFI committee. Can this be shared?
Meeting SADC online.
Honorable Ndebele, kindly mute your microphone. Thank you. Thank you.
I was asking about new members that have joined the TIFI committee.
Yes, Chairperson. Apologies for not indicating that. We have Honorable Marie Joanne Sabrina Tor from Mauritius, who is joining this committee for the first time. And we are yet to receive nominations from the Parliament of Namibia.
Thank you.
Apologies have not been received from any country thus far, and we'll follow up to see what could have been the problem with members who have registered and not been able to log in.
Yes. Thank you, Madam SG. May I welcome honorable members from Mauritius for your being on this committee. So shall we move to point number 4 in we go over the minutes? The minutes of the meeting of the standing committee that was held in South Africa on the Saturday, the 2nd of November, 2019. I trust all members have a copy of the minutes with them. Credential and apologies has been noted. Is there any correction on page 1? Just a brief comment in regards to page 1 in attendance that Mr. Barney has been replaced by our new committee secretary, which the SG has acknowledged and informed us. And we also, I would like to, even if he's not there, to thank Barney for his hard work that he has done in the past years in supporting this committee to be active, alive, and that we fulfill our mandate and agenda. Shall we move to page 2? Any comments?
Yes, Chair, there's a comment.
Yes, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair. On page 2, good morning, everyone. Good morning, honorable members and the entire team. On page 2, Chair, you have the last sentence before item number 2. The chairperson urged that follow-up on the implementation of plenary assembly resolutions be promoted through retrospective reviews, at which occasion the standing committee should agree on actions to be taken steps. I think it's either should agree on actions to be taken and you leave out the steps.
Noted. So we will have a full stop where action to be taken. Thank you.
Faz favor. Bom dia. Bom dia a todos.
Please send me the TIFI minutes.
Eu falo da Angola, do Parlamento angolano, e quero desejar a todos um bom dia. Eu tenho aqui uma preocupação na primeira página. O meu nome foi trocado pelo nome da senhora deputada Helena Bonguela Abel. Portanto, quem participou nesta reunião e quem é membro deste comitê sou eu, Ruth Adriano Mendes, não a senhora deputada Helena Bonguela Abel.
Yes. Good morning, Honorable Honorable Helena. Is it Helena or may I have the guidance of? It's Helena.
Não, não é Helena, é Ruth Adriano Mendes. Eu é que sou membro do comitê e eu é que participei nesta reunião.
It is noted, Chair.
Yes, it's all. Thank you, Honorable Mendes. Yes, I am aware that you were in that meeting. Thank you. Correction done. Thank you.
Obrigada.
Shall we move to page 3 of 6? Just a point of clarification in regards to the presentation that was done by Dr. Alison Gilwald and Mr. Gabriela Rosano. We were to receive the slide presentation, and I am not aware if it was sent maybe while Mr. Barnes was there, but the presentation that was done, because members were asked that they get a copy of the slide presentation. Vice Chair, can you acknowledge, did you receive any, or through email or WhatsApp?
No, Chair, I don't recall. No.
We will liaise with our one committee clerk once it's formalized in office, so that we can at least, because there was some very important key points that was an enabler to help us with the upcoming model law on digital economy that was discussed. So it is important that members do get a copy of the presentation so that they can at least familiarize themselves with these topics. Thank you. Any point or concern on page 3? If no, shall we move to page 4?
Yes, Chair, there's some 2 pointers on page 4.
Chair, if I may we kindly move with the headings? For other languages, the pages are not the same. Thank you.
Okay, the heading. We are on page 4. It's a follow-up of the digital economy and society. So, Vice Chair, can you state your point?
Yes, Chair. On item 3.1.10, 3.1.10.
Yes.
Inevitably, data may be interfered with or controlled, and this raises important issues. And then you have 3.1.15. 3.1.15. I'm not sure, did we want to begin that sentence with statics or statistics? 3.1.15. Thank you, Chair.
Yes. 3.115 should be statistics. It's statistics, not statics. Correction done. And in 3.110, what was your concern, Vice Chair?
It was just the word this raise, should be this raises important issues.
Okay, typo, English, this raises. We are an S. Thank you. Any other concern on page 4 or correction? Shall we move to page 5?
Another minor one, Chair.
Yes.
3.2.1, the UN General Assembly's Human Rights Council's position, which declares, is it declares or declared, but it's not declared. It's one of the two. Thank you, Chair.
Declared. It's in the past tense, no? Should be declared that the access is. And 3.21 is the UN General Assemblies, or its assembly, because I see they have an S. I beg, can we have your comment on that, on this correction? 3.21. Is it assemblies with an S, or it's assembly LIS? LIS.
I'm not sure.
because assemblies is, if we are talking, it's an institution. So it's one institution. It should be assembly, the UN General Assembly.
It looks correct, Honorable Chair, if I may step in.
It's correct with the S.
Yes.
Okay.
It looks and sounds very correct, Honorable Chair.
Okay, we'll proceed then. Shall we move to the last page for the conclusion and the vote of thanks that was done?
Yes, Chair, if I may chip in. The very first sentence, Honorable Agley thanked all the members. That's it. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, noted. Can we now, since all in order, can we adopt the minutes of the last, our last TIFI meeting?
I move, Chair, that we adopt.
Any seconder?
Could I just correct something before we proceed?
Yes, please.
So that it sits very well at the root of my tongue, Honorable Chair, I suggest I think from the bottom, it should be line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, where it says, he particularly thanked Honorable Makagula, the Vice President of the SADC PF, for gracing the session of the meeting.
Yes.
It sounds repetitive. If we could just put a full stop right after session, it will still carry the same sense.
Yeah. So off the meeting is being removed.
We do away with that.
Yes, we do away. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So Vice Chair has for the adoption, and can we have anyone who second for the adoption? Or
I saw second, Honorable Chair.
thank you. So on the agenda, we shall now move to point number 5. Madam SG, can you, in line with point number 5, on how are we going to proceed with the point number 5, the election of office bearers? Your microphone is off, Madam SG. I can hear you.
Oh, thank you, Chair. We have not tackled matters arising.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Sorry for that. My agenda hasn't. So we will be tackling the matters arising. Do we have the same agenda? Oh. Yes. Does any members has any concern in regards to our minutes and any matters that they wish to arise? As I've mentioned in my brief speech remarks, we are dealing with the new normal, and our task and mandate of this committee has bring us to this point where we will be having new topics on conversation on the agenda in line with our local and regional economies with the impact of the COVID-19. So I therefore beg that members do contribute in any way that they feel they want to share or to add on to, so that we can at least portray ourselves and forge ahead to tackle the situation, especially the economics one that are being very challenging for us all. So I will open the floor for any matters arising from members. Thank you.
Chair, may I come in?
Yes, you may.
Thank you, Chair. I think at this juncture, we could be updated by the Secretariat, particularly on 3.2, if there are any updates for us, which would inform the matters arising.
Yeah. 3.2. Are you referring to 3.2, the certificate, are you referring to the 3.2, the TIFI Standing Committee?
The resolutions, Chair.
Resolution that was tabled.
Yes, sir.
Over to you, Madam SG. Do we have any updates?
Afternoon, Chairperson. There was no movement on the resolutions. Thank you. We will have them on the portfolio for our new committee clerk to follow through.
Thank you, Madam SG. And in line with the forging ahead on the model law on digital economy, I think our legal drafters are still working on the legal drafters are still working on the model law. Do we by any chance know or have a brief idea on when can we possibly see the first draft of this model law? Thank you.
Chair, if I may, we could share the outline, which is yet to be approved, but I'll be uncomfortable to do that. That's the briefing that I gave yourselves and the Vice Chair. We have a phased-out approach on the digital economy. We just received an email yesterday from the center where they were coming back to say that they are yet to vet those timeframes following our briefing with your son. I'll seek your guidance as to whether or not we should proceed with this draft.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Madam.
Okay, I will share the screen on the phased approach on the digital economy, which is more or less the same thing. 3.2.7, 3.2.8 are the same in my view, and 3.2. So let me share the presentation related to this, Chairperson. I'll need a few minutes. Is the screen?
I can see, yes.
Okay. Chair, probably just for being a little bit comprehensive, allow me to use my discretion just to share. We are referring to 3.2 on the minutes in terms of resolutions that have gone to the plenary assembly. They are quite varied in terms of what the committee intended to put singularly in relation to the various components of the digital economy, among others. What I'm sharing, which overlaps with some of the resolutions, Chair, allow me to indicate that the committee clerk, Mr. Bani Karombe, did leave a handover report, which were matters that were in progress. And we have proceeded to deal with some of them. We have been in contact with Tralak, who is also sitting in, represented by Ms. Hesenbeck from Tralak, who are looking at some of the issues and may assist us in terms of capacity development in some areas. And we have agreed on some areas to start slowly in raising awareness and ensuring that the members engage with some of the products that Tralak is actually working on. We are also discussing a 5-year proposal with Tralak, where we are hoping that we can develop a joint proposal to assist in some of the areas. As you can see, Tralak has published a lot and has been engaged in a lot of issues on trade in the digital economy. They've been monitoring trends around regional integration, among others, in the SADC region. There is the site. I'll share some of the links with you for those members who may be interested. And these are some of the publications based on the links that they have done. Regarding the digital economy and contact with the Research ICT Africa partners, the process for the model law we have been discussing and have agreed on a phased approach. We have agreed on a phased approach to implementing the model law development, which the committee has been seized with over time, has deliberated upon, and has given guidance to the Research Institute. As you can see, we have phase 1 up to phase 4. Phase 5 and 6 are not yet reflected, which were recommendations that the chairperson and the vice chairperson put forth to the SADC Parliamentary Forum to make sure that it does not fall off in terms of the planning for this particular model law development. Where we sit, they have submitted a draft work plan, which is being finalized. But the idea is that when the first phase is over, we should have signed an MOU. There should be a technical team established. We should have had an introductory meeting with SADC Parliamentary Forum leadership and members, and that potential themes for the model law and existing SADC policy and regulatory instruments should have been identified. Those are the activities in phase 1 that should be done. We're also looking at phase 2, where the drafting of a digital economy position paper should be done. An external review of digital economy position paper should be concluded. A virtual consultative multi-stakeholder workshop should have taken place, and a presentation of the green paper must be operationalized and concluded. We're also hoping that under phase 2, identification of policy options or recommendations on enhancing or improving the existing SADC policy and regulatory framework on ICT would be undertaken. And a revision and finalization of the digital economy position paper will be done. These will be done through a workshop. The finalized position paper will also include engagement with members. We have projected dates there, as you can see, that by July 2020, an external review of existing digital economy position paper must be completed. By July, August, a virtual consultative workshop for the discussion of the green paper and policy options should have taken off. By mid-August, we have to have finalized the digital economy position paper, and this should be taken through the approval process. When you look at phase 3, Chair, we are hoping that the development of the model law will take off, and therefore the presentation of the model law to the SADC PF Plenary Assembly committees or joint sessions for adoption will take place, and the engagement of the drafters and translation, among others, would be taking place. And the review of the draft law with the technical team from the partners will also take place, including consecutive translation. We hope that under phase 3, we will have the model law drafted, and this will be confirmed based on the calendar of the SADC Parliamentary Forum. Phase 4 is really a post-adoption process of the model law, where after input from all the necessary organs and stakeholders, we'll be editing. We'll also be engaging with key stakeholders in SADC member states who are critical in this process. And this will also be confirmed based on the calendar of TIFI in the second semester for 2020. Yesterday night, I also received a work plan from the research center, which I would not share, but it gives confidence in terms of concretizing some of these steps, which will be shared in due course, Chair. If you allow, this is where I'll stop, and I'm limiting myself to what I see under resolutions, which are quite broad, which means that the incoming committee clerk will then look at how some of the aspirations contained in the resolutions can be operationalized, and really look at some of the intention of the committee related to domestication, of some of the ICT related commitments taken by government, and re-looking at issues of barriers around connectivity, education, among others, Chair. I believe most of these issues will also be addressed as the model law capacity development process is integrated and informs the development process. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Madam SG. I just have one question that I want to ask. Given the work that has been done and is being done by the expert on this model law, do we expect to see maybe some realignment with that model law, given the context of the COVID-19, now that everywhere around the world, people are observing the either lockdown or social distancing, and the online platform is now the new normal that we are operating and doing our business, our social lives. So do we expect to see some integration of certain new avenues so that will incur or enter in the digital economy model law, so that we as at now, we can cope and for the future to come? And secondly, it's about the consultative workshop that are in phase 2. I believe it has already started. So how are we going to proceed in the near future for further consultation on this matter before we go to the white paper stage?
Chair,
Yes.
Thank you for that question. I believe that your first question around integration is a necessary one. I believe that this will certainly inform the scope and the depth of the model law in one or the other. The future is digital, and therefore, for me, this is really this is a progressive step that the committee can look into and begin to use the knowledge that we have currently from COVID-19 to inform some issues around data, some issues around areas that can promote people's participation in the digital economy, among others. So I believe that this is something that the committee should continue to keep an eye on and inform the process, since you are the stakeholders. And at the end of the day, these are some of the issues that should inform what you'd ultimately like to see in this process. On how we're going to proceed, we have earmarked the majority of capacity development sessions to happen online. That is part of how COVID has also informed how we need to engage in this process. And therefore, I believe that your input will be considered in the process of the development of the model.
Yes, thank you, Madam.
The activities that have been proposed, Chair, we are concretizing them. And I had not fully acquainted myself to them, and therefore would not be quick to share with the committee unless I've combed through some of the suggestions. We will brief the committee accordingly once we are done with this process. Thank you, Chairperson. I believe I have been able to answer what I had.
Thank you, Madam SG. Does any other members have any other concern in regards to the 3.2, the resolution that has been, and what Madam SG has proclaimed to us in regards to the whereabout and how do we find ourselves on the adoption of the future model law on digital economy. If please state so.
Hi, I'd like to make a comment on 3.2.
Yes, Domilang, Honorable Domilang.
I think the update by the SG with the model law is satisfactory. I just wanted to make a proposition that under 3.2, there are quite a number of items which require countries to, member countries that is, to take certain actions and report back. I think it may be necessary to agree on a timeline on which we would want countries to report back on progress that they have made to ensure that the resolutions stated under 3.2 are implemented in our respective countries. Otherwise, if we don't have a deadline, we may at the next meeting find ourselves just that we are making good advance with the model law, but individual countries are not moving.
Yes, thank you. Noted, yes. It's a valid point. Any other concern or on matters arising on this matter? If no, then I believe the House is in order with matters that has been arise, and we do expect in the future that we will be receiving additional infos, and in regards to this model law and the presentation that was done also by our expert, which is very elaborative, very important to have those facts and figures to enable us in our work and to better understand the future that will comes with the adoption of the model law. So, Madam.
Apologies, Chair. Did I miss the date, sir? A deadline for countries. What we'll proceed to do is to send, we will clean up the resolutions, rephrase them into questions, and send them to countries. I would appreciate if the committee could set a deadline for submission so that we may work towards that.
I have a comment on that, Chair, on the SG submission. Should I proceed?
Yes, proceed.
Okay, yes. Yes, I totally welcome this suggestion that the respective parliaments need to be cautioned to give feedback. I'm just concerned or wondering on the input or the contribution or the participation of the TIFI members. Because I think we are the ones that are supposed to sort of drive or push our respective parliaments to respond to these resolutions and provide the appropriate feedback or the actions that they've taken. So how are we going to interlink the two, us as committee members versus our various parliaments? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Vice. I believe from our last meeting that we did have like a small homework for each member's parliament to do in their member state. That was to find out regards information in regards to the digital economy platform in their countries, what kind of regulation that are in place, also challenges or barriers that are effective, especially when it comes to pricing, and what kind of policies or regulation that needs to be amended or introduce new ones. So these were some of our tasks that we were asked to at our national level to do a little bit of a homework, and then we can report back and contribute. But since we will not be meeting physically so that you can present, I best believe that with the guidance of the SG, so that we do have a platform, we do have like the WhatsApp group. Maybe now is that we can share via those platforms, so that they can be compiled and then put it in a brief report on our findings. And also, may I recommend that if we don't have any expertise in this kind of field, because I think every government has the trade and department and the ICT sector within the governmental framework. I think this is an area that we need to go and do some research with them, ask some questions, so that they can also give us some feedbacks and get some information and facts, so that in our next meeting, so that we can also share that, so that we can contextualize and then also see what is happening on our regional context in regards to our digital economy, our trade, and the ICT sector, which is an important now, so that we can, when we meet the other expert with the presentation, so that also we can compare the facts and figures to better position us. Is that an acceptable proposal?
Thank you, Chair. I understand we have a hand raised from Honorable Sokotwani and Honorable Mukalipi from South Africa.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Am I on the floor?
Yes, you may. Proceed.
Yeah, I did raise my hand earlier on, but the very issue that I wanted to talk about has since been covered, and my hand has been lowered, so it's okay. We may proceed.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairperson. I don't know, Honorable Mukalipi was also indicated as needing to intervene.
No, Chairperson, no, yes, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Chair. Regarding communication and ensuring that the members of TIFI also contribute to the responses from parliaments, I would like to assume that Honorable Mosena is looking at a situation where an honorable member is a member of TIFI at the regional level, but not at the national level. Whether it's how do we reconcile the two responses. I need to get clarity on that, Honorable Mosena.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank
Through
you.
you, Chair,
Yes, Chair. We would need to get a country position. We can indicate in the communication to parliaments that the honorable member for TIFI should work with the responsible committee at parliament to participate in this activity. I'm not sure if that helps. Otherwise, we could task the honorable members from TIFI committee to actually lead the process of engagement at country level and report through the clerk's office. I'm not sure how this will work in various parliaments.
Yes, I can see that. I believe for members, because various parliament has their own kind of situation, protocol, and given the political aspect of it, and that some members may face some difficulties also in engaging their own parliaments to back them and to get the job done. But I believe in if members are to start working on something or acquire information, I think they should consult with their own caucus first, and then they can move with the help of the SADC PF Secretariat to at least formalize something for us to start our works that we are, as a TIFI member, we are mandated to do certain work, and so that maybe through a letter or something can be sent to our own parliament via our desk officers, so that the speaker also is made aware of our intentions, which are good ones given the pandemic situation also, so that we can also now engage broadly with our national parliament. I see this way, because if we were to go alone on this matter, we will face some difficulties, and some members also may face some challenges in getting the engagement of other parliamentarians in their own national level. Thank you.
Chairperson.
Honorable, yes. Thank you, Kalipi.
Thanks. May I just say something on this matter as well? After listening to the chairperson, there was also a kind of this a process in national parliament in South Africa, whereby we raise it in the Chief Whips Forum, whereby all the chief whips of different political parties are meeting. And I'm very happy to see that the acting secretary of National Parliament is here in this meeting as well, because we have the same concern as the chair is putting it. And we agreed that, no, it needs to be very well coordinated. So maybe other members from other countries, they can also use that platform whereby all the chief whips from different political parties can also talk about those resolutions that are taken at this platform in order to be who's supposed to also to have information can be also be invited to that specific committee. For instance, I am the member of TIFI here, but at a national parliament, I'm the member of COCTA. So therefore, when we do engage at that political level, whereby all the chief whips from political parties are also on par in terms of the decisions that are taken here, it can also be helpful to process some of these matters because it gets lost on the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Is there any other comments?
Yes, Chair, may I just come in?
Yes, please.
Yes, it's very understandable that we have various setups in our home parliaments, and the way messaging is conveyed might differ. But I think as far as TIFI is concerned, in order to help the members vis-a-vis their own national parliaments, especially those that are disjoined from the respective trade committees back home, it would help. I think we've always been talking to this, that when there is information that is sent to the national parliaments, because it's normally through the clerks, much as it's going to it could be going to the speaker, but then it's also very important that that same information is communicated with the TIFI members. In that way, then one can be able to follow, because sometimes you find that there's an assignment that's gone to the member parliament back home, and then the members are totally ignorant. They're not aware that there's a pending matter that they need to be pursuing. So if you can just, as a matter of, just to kickstart the process, make sure that there's dual dissemination of information. It goes to the clerk, but then it also comes to the committee. Thank you, Chair.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Vice. I believe it's an important point. So that we need now to formalize the process on how we proceed. Madam SG, in the interest, like we have the committee for SRHR within our respective parliament. maybe in terms of guidelines to this committee, so that maybe it should formalize like a protocol and guidelines on, because we don't want members to just go wandering here and there, asking here and there, so that we have like certain guidelines that we will follow. What are we going to look for, and what kind of topics or subjects that we will want to address as priorities. Then we can start something in line with the recommendation. There has to be a recommendation from the SADC PF Secretariat to inform our local parliament of our intentions, so that maybe this is an approach that we can consider. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We will digest the recommendations as they're coming through. I see there's a hand. Honorable Sokotwani had a hand.
No, SG, that hand was up a minute ago, but I thought I'd brought it down, so please just ignore that.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Chair. We will reconcile the inputs with those of the various administrations of Parliament. We will continue, just to say, every time after a committee session, we disseminate the resolutions that have been taken by the committee. We also submit the same to the national parliaments for further processing and action. We will utilize the platforms for WhatsApp to indicate when these have been sent through to parliaments, for also your communication in the interim. While we consult, members will recall that we now have a committee of clerks who are part of the structure of the SADC PF. We will process these for alignment and definitely ensure that you are not left out, since you are the process holders in ensuring that you inform this particular process. Chair, there's also a comment on the chat where there's a request to say, could you kindly say what role the SADC Parliamentary Forum plays in the implementation of the SADC Macroeconomic Convergence Plan, and tell us how far has the region gone in realizing the envisaged milestones under the plan. While the chair and the members are digesting this particular comment on the platform, if you may, through your permission, Chair, we could invite Ms. Trudy to preface by giving input into that question, and then we could respond after that, Chair.
Yes, Madam. Proceed.
Trudy, kindly take the floor.
Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you, SG. Good morning, honourable members. It's a great honour to join you this morning. This is a particularly important question for the Southern African development community. SADC adopted through the Regional Indicative Strategic Development Plan already in the early 2000s, a program for macroeconomic convergence. Now, as members would be aware, the macroeconomic convergence basically focuses on some of the important economic indicators, economic growth rates, rates of inflation, looking at unemployment and so on, that are integral to our overall economic growth and sustainable development agenda. Divergence among these indicators means that we face inequalities and exclusion, both from sustainable regional economic growth, but also from longer-term sustainable opportunities to attract foreign direct investment to our region, but also to develop our industrialization agenda. And as members would know, as from 2014, specifically April 2014, when SADC at an extraordinary summit adopted an industrialization agenda as an absolute imperative for the region to develop and diversify its productive capacity, particularly in the industrial sector, These are very importantly linked, and therefore taking a look at how we are progressing on the macroeconomic convergence agenda is particularly important, also in the context of the agenda that we now focus quite a lot on, also given the lessons that we're learning from COVID-19. I think COVID-19 has shone a spotlight on some of the challenges that we face in terms of our reliance on imports of essential goods, essential medical supplies, food products for our food security, and so on. And therefore, industrialization and also our program for macroeconomic convergence takes on special significance. And it is extremely appropriate that members have raised issues and questions about how we are faring as far as macroeconomic convergence is concerned. As far as the role for the SADC-PF, and there I'm not in the best position to answer this, but it is of course a very important monitoring function that SADC-PF performs, and where the SADC-PF is uniquely positioned from a regional perspective to have oversight of what is happening within our community. Of course, as honourable members of national parliaments, our purview is very often to focus on the national level. But another very important lesson that we have learned from COVID-19 experience is how interconnected we are. If one country faces significant challenges or adopts a measure to close a border post, for example, it immediately impacts neighboring countries. And therefore, the issue of macroeconomic convergence has to be a regional focus. So from this perspective, SADC-PF is uniquely positioned to play a role in terms not only of monitoring and surveillance of performance, but also to provide input into the discussions at national level through the PF channels. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you, Trudy, for your inputs. I think it's very elaborative and very important. And it is also to note that it's important to be aware that the SADC macroeconomic plan has been approved by the SADC Council and Summit. Although this forum is not, we are not formally consulted in that process, but SADC-PF provide parliamentary value to give a boost to the SADC macroeconomic in line with the macroeconomic plan. And for instance, SADC model law on public financial management, which is currently under development, will address some issues of sustainable budgets and public debt, and in which are major macroeconomic indicators. And also we have members that has been able to participate with the AFRODAD workshop. I think if I recall, there has been 3 workshops in the past years, so that the members also have their chance and input in regards to any macroeconomic program that their country has undergone, and also in the picture of the debt crisis and the debt management within their local context. I believe we are in the right direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I do not see any hand up, and thank you so much, Trudy, for that insightful response. We may proceed, Chair.
Okay, honorable members, I believe we have exhausted the matter arising, and the point has been being raised in regards to point 3.2 on our agenda. So, Madam SG, we will. Are we going now to move on the agenda number 5?
Yes, Chairperson, thank you very much. It is unfortunate. That's one of the shortcomings of having an e-platform for discussing some of the issues. I know if we were meeting face to face, members would already be lobbying, negotiating, and indicating their interest to take over the leadership of this committee. And I'm not sure if we may proceed with this agenda item as planned. I would invite our procedural officer to give information in terms of the rules and guide the process. And it's up to the membership to advise whether they would like to have the elections today or tomorrow after your full session is over, depending on the level of preparation that is required. At this point, Chair, through your permission, allow me to invite Mr. Sheunene Kurasha, Parliamentary Business, to lead in this particular process for election of office bearers.
Thank you, Madam SG. Mr. Kurasha, you may proceed. Mr. Kurasha, over to you.
Hello, thank you very much, Chairperson. Am I heard?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I was battling. I also wanted to put my video, but I'm struggling a bit. Please bear with me. Chairperson, as indicated by the SG, the procedure for election of chairpersons and vice chairpersons is that the chairpersons and vice chairpersons serve for 2 terms. I mean, 2-year terms. And the current chairperson and vice chairperson were elected in 2018. And therefore the term ends now when the committee is meeting. And in this regard, the Secretary General advised all national parliaments that elections are due in the 5 standing committees and the RWPC. And let me go to the specific provisions of the Constitution and the rules of procedure relating to the election of the chairperson and vice chairperson. The Rule 39 of the SADC rules of procedure says that sub-rule 1, each committee shall elect a chairperson and a vice chairperson. And sub-rule 2, the chairperson of a standing committee shall preside over all meetings of the committee. In his or her absence, the vice chairperson shall assume the duties, and in the absence of the vice chairperson, a member designated by the committee shall preside over the committee on an interim basis. There is also a provision relating to rotation in Article 14.3 of the SADC Constitution, which provides that members of the standing committee shall hold the position of chairperson or vice chairperson and shall retire by rotation, meaning that a member parliament with members serving in the positions of chairperson or vice chairperson of a standing committee shall not be eligible for re-election to the position in the immediate subsequent term. Furthermore, there is a provision regarding gender principle, which is provided for in Rule 38.5, which states that as far as it's practically possible, gender considerations shall be taken into account when deciding the chairpersonship of committees. Where the chairperson of a committee is a woman, the vice chairperson shall be a man and vice versa. Chair, based on the provisions of the Constitution and the rules as outlined, what it means is that the current chairperson, namely the parliament of the current chairperson, namely Seychelles, and the parliament of the current vice chairperson, Lesotho, are not eligible in this election. So those are the only two parliaments that are not eligible. And with that understanding and with the concurrence of the committee through the chair, we may proceed to the nomination. How we are going to proceed, Chair, is that we are going to receive nominations for each position. After receiving nominations, if we receive more than 2 nominations, we will have to conduct an election. And in order to conduct an election, we will have the facilitation of our ICT officer, Mr. Ronald van Vijn, who is going to project for a voting platform to pop up on your screens. And when we have admitted the nominations, we will vote for each our preferred candidate on the basis of their country. So we will confirm to the committee members the country of the member so that we are able to vote against their country. And that's how we will aggregate the vote. Chairperson, do I have the permission of the committee to proceed?
Yes,
Chairperson, I have a question to ask.
Yes, Mr. Spottermo.
My question is this. In the past, when we have had a situation like this, Secretariat made a table for us to see which countries are eligible and which ones are not eligible. For now, it is talking about the Lesotho and Seychelles as not being eligible. There are 2 questions that arise for that. When you say the Seychelles, for example, is not eligible, does that mean you are also not eligible to be a vice chairperson? And similarly, for the vice chairperson, is she also not eligible for chairperson? First question. Second question, on the basis of the principle of rotation, there are countries that may have failed this position 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Then there are others who have never held the position at all. This is where in the past we're told these countries have held the position, these ones have not held the position at all. And therefore, normally those who have never held the position had the preference. This information has not been provided to us this time. Is there not a risk that somebody who held, or a country that held the position 3 years ago, 4 years ago, may be re-elected, and a country that has never held the position could be ignored? I need answers to those 2 questions.
Okay, thank you, Honorable. Mr. Kurasha, do we have, I believe we did receive a hard copy of the table, the projection table that countries that were eligible and that have in the past also hold the position of vice chair or chairperson. Can you indicate us with us now who are the eligible countries that are now can be the vice chair or the chair? Which countries now that are in hand? Thank you.
That will be shared on the screen, Chair.
Okay, you project, okay.
Honorable members.
Hello.
I've projected the list of countries that have held the positions before. I need your confirmation that you are able to see the table.
Yes, the table is there, Kurasha, but
Yes.
just move to the TIFI committee.
Sure. So for the TIFI committee, there is a first party SG where we had the trade development and integration. Do we start there or after the change to TIFI?
Yes, I believe it's that.
So for right, for the period, for the period,
Kurasha, apologies.
Yes,
there's an intervention, Chair, from Honorable Sokotwane.
Yes, sir. You may switch. Honorable Sokotwane?
Yes. I would suggest that if the Secretariat is not up to date with this information, maybe we could consider the matter tomorrow so that they are ready. But if they are ready, we can proceed.
Okay, it's a good suggestion, but maybe if Mr. Kurasha can indicate, since we will hold the election tomorrow, so maybe before the election, then we will go over the timetable, make it ready, so that even we can circulate in the group also via our WhatsApp group on eligibility of participant of member state, so that we'll have an idea, and then members also will make up their mind of nominating other members that we will vote for in the end. So it's a good suggestion. Maybe Kurasha, if we can have the updated one, can send it via our WhatsApp so that tonight we can go over it also. And then tomorrow when we convene the election, we will be ready to nominate and vote. Thank you.
Sure, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. If I may also seek guidance, should we just focus on the TIFI committee as aligned to the SADC sectors, or should we go as far back before when you're still the regional integration committee for purposes of complying with geographical rotation? The preparedness is based on reconciling those two. Otherwise, we are ready because the TIFI committee has aligned to the sectors. They've only had about 3 leadership elections. And therefore, if you go back to when it was still regional integration, that is where we'd need to go back and then rationalize that particular table.
No, I believe it was from the last election. I remember we used a new one, not the old one. We used the new one, yes.
Okay, Chair, thank you for the guidance.
Chair, may I come in?
Yes, Honorable Sokotwane.
Yeah, actually my view would be different from yours. The reason being that I believe that even at the time when we are electing you, the horizon that we're looking at was not just for TIF, but we went backwards. Because if you look at the functions of the committees, they are quite similar. And perhaps more importantly, this issue of rotation, every country having a chance to take a leadership position. If we ignore the past, then there's a real danger that those who may never had a position or who have never had a chance to have a leadership position, their chance may be pushed backwards further, which in my view is not a good thing to have. So for me, I would think that we should step back and look at who held leadership positions in this committee or a committee that was related to this one.
Honorable, thank you. Maybe the reason that is how far back are we going to go? Okay, let's say we are going to go 10 years down the line. In the past 10 years, how? Because we do election every 2 years. This election has been done every 2 years. So we will have like the past 10 years of 5 countries that are. So are we going to 20 years back, or because I think they do have according to the stream from 1999 to 2000. According to the stream I am reading now. So do we go back to 1999, or we just? We need guidance on that.
Chair, if I may, if the principle is that of rotation, the work will be done through elimination. We'll eliminate those countries that have had an opportunity. We will only indicate the countries that are eligible to participate for these positions. So we'll rationalize it according to this guidance. Yes, indeed, it means we go back as far as 1999, Chair.
Madam SG, I'm fine with that. If we want to move forward, then it's okay. You can rationalize it, and then we can have a look at it also two other ways. I'm fine.
So if that is the guidance we get from the committee, we shall proceed in that fashion.
Members, do we have an agreement? Are we on agreement, members?
Yes, for me, yes, Mr. Chairman, because I was moving this proposition. For me, yes, you heard the agreement. We now have to listen to what the others have to say.
I'm also comfortable with the agreement. I think it complies with the principle of rotation.
Okay, duly noted.
Thank you, Chairperson. May I propose that we have this election at the end of our presentation tomorrow? That is planned, since it will be more of an internal matter. We have scheduled the webinar to start at 10 hours tomorrow, and we did not want to put the business of the committee before, since we'll have those who are just logging in order to appreciate the presentation and the interaction. Then after, we'll log out and log in again for the elections when the webinar is done.
Okay. Yes, Madam SG, I take note. But in terms of time schedule, you say we will convey in the 10 in the morning, and for us to plan ourselves also in regards to the election, the logging in and out after, could we at least like have a small time frame, so that in the schedule for tomorrow, so that we will know when we will hold the election itself, possible time.
Yes, Chair. The webinar will commence immediately at 10 hours. We hope to be done at 11:30. We can take a 30 minutes break, reconvene at 12, do the voting, and then we'll be done by 12:30, Chair, if that is acceptable.
It's okay with me, it's fine with me. Members, are we in agreement with the proposal made by Madam SG?
I'm okay, Chair.
Supported, Chair.
Noted. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Do I see Honorable Ndebele's hand?
Agreed, Honorable Chairman.
Okay. Madam SG, it seems you have the support of members for the proposed schedule for tomorrow, so we can proceed.
Chair, that is the last item on our agenda for today. I'm not sure if there are any other business. I've been advised previously never to add that because we invite a lot of issues. However, the election of office bearers for today's agenda was what we had planned as the last item to be considered.
Okay, thank you, Madam SG. In regards to tomorrow's agenda, Madam SG, with the new normal, maybe if we will allow or any other related topics to our committee, even with the COVID-19, because if I may share with you, because last week we, our assembly adopted a committee, a House committee, which that will deal with the COVID-19 oversight in terms of budgets and allocations also. So I think it's an important milestone when it comes to the work of parliamentarians. So if I ever get a slot tomorrow, just to briefly go over what is going on, how is it being done, and how it's also helping the government and our National Assembly also to have an eyesight and overview, and also to correspond and correlate with the private sectors in the help of the fighting with the economic situation with the COVID-19. So it's a new thing for me, especially for new members. So if I like only 5 minutes, so that I can share some information also and experience based on that, on how it's maybe other members can consider in their own parliament how they go about within this situation and oversight role of the COVID-19 stimulus package, especially that there is not misuse of public funds. So that this is my recommendation, if it could be considered.
Chair?
Yes.
Yes, Chair. I from my side, I think it's a very welcome initiative to share the experiences, because like you're saying, this is a very new phenomenon. And if we can, you know, discuss on how our various parliaments are trying to deal with the pandemic, then it helps us. So I totally welcome it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Vice.
Thank you, Chair. With your guidance, are we putting in another layer of interventions by member parliaments to the agenda?
Yes, I'm asking that we have like a point in our agenda where we can also share this what I've just briefly mentioned also. Is it okay? But we will not be focusing on maybe the health aspect, not the health aspect, but the economic aspect and what is the parliament doing. Because I think from now the region government has put a stimulus package, a budget. They have realigned their own budget. So just what kind of oversight that is being put in place and how is it working for them in that areas? We will not be going to these pandemic cases, but maybe briefly mention, it's not it's maybe we can briefly mention on our local context, our situation, but we're focusing on the economic side. That is important priority for us.
Yes, Chair, that is completely in order. I'm trying to allocate time. Our presenter is ready to start at 10.
Okay.
Take inputs on the presentation up to at least 11:30.
Okay.
Shall we allocate 30 minutes? Then we shouldn't take a break. Allocate 30 minutes for each member state to make contributions in that regard. Or we continue up to 12:30 and do the elections after. I'm just seeking guidance also to anticipate how many parliaments would make the contributions, sir.
SG, may I come in, please? May I come in?
Chair, there's an intervention from Zambia.
Honorable Sokotembe, you may proceed.
Yeah, taking note of the fact that tomorrow appears to be quite full, would you be in a position to do the presentation today? Because I think, as for me, I'd provided myself time up to 12:30 or with 13 hours for today. Now I see that's 11:32. So certainly I still have 1 hour free. So for me, I would have preferred that you do your presentation today because of the time. And then tomorrow we leave the program undisturbed. My proposal.
Your proposal has been noted, Honorable Sokotembe, but we will also be having the inputs of various members also. So maybe the suggestion that Madam SG has put forward for the 30 minutes tomorrow, just 30 minutes, like members have like 4 or 5 minutes just to talk a little bit of their situation back home and then what their parliament are doing. Because if I do a presentation now, we will have the inputs of other members. So how do we stand on that?
All right, well, that was a suggestion. If there are difficulties about it, I do understand.
No, because members need to be prepared also to at least get some time tonight in the evening and think of what they will be putting forward tomorrow. It's not a big task, but the situation, the way it is right now. Can you bear with us for tomorrow, please?
No problem, Chairperson.
Okay, thank you. Madam SG, over to you.
Thank you, Chair. The program will start at 10 hours. We will conclude and probably still find that we can have an opportunity to make some of the input while we interact with the presentation. But we'll provide time immediately S6 intervention by member parliaments.
Yes.
And then after that, we'll proceed with the election. 7 will be election of office bearers. And then 8 will become conclusion and closure by the chairperson. We will manage the time within the provision. We can move the time to 13 hours for conclusion, but it would be good to allow those who are coming in just for the presentation to log out. And then the committee can remain at some point just before elections to proceed with the session.
Yes,
if that amendment is welcome, we will amend the agenda accordingly.
Yeah, noted. It is noted, Madam SG. But one point is in regards to the proceeding of the election itself, because since we also have members that we have not even met yet, will it be a good idea? Because I've seen on the WhatsApp group that you have put our pictures with some comments also about it. Maybe like you doing a normal election, have members' pictures present to us. It's like we don't ballot papers, but we are not asking for a ballot paper. But so that the new members are being familiarized with the existing members so that countries that are eligible also, we will know which members are they, so that we can picture ourselves like going through a normal election. Is it in accordance?
Thank you, Chair. If you could kindly request members to send their pictures and small bio, we will proceed as guided.
Yes. So members, we all have a WhatsApp, and we have the WhatsApp group for the TIFI committee, or the SADC TIFI committee one. Please, in the evening, kindly send a small picture of your passport photo size picture for consideration for tomorrow's election, please. Are we in agreement?
Sorry, Chairman, those who are vying for, or only those who are eligible?
I think it's good to know all of us now, because we are not seeing each other often. Can you send your picture too?
Okay.
I will say, we are, all members send our picture, please.
All right.
And a little brief share, a little brief bio about yourself.
All right. We shall do so.
Allow me, Chair, to indicate that we may not have the opportunity to translate those bios, and I'm not sure how that will play out. Maybe the bios should not be included, just the member and the country.
Yes, it's fine. So, Madam Essie, we have an agreement. So we will present a photo with our names and countries.
All right, we will.
Okay. Madam SG, over to you.
Chair, it is not a coup, I think. We are done with today's agenda item for the first part of the committee meeting. We may adjourn, Chair, and reconvene tomorrow at 10 hours.
Yes, okay, members, thank you. Meeting is adjourned for tomorrow at 10 hours in the morning. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Chair.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.